Good morning. My husband went fishing with his buddy and his buddy's son. So I'm left alone, unsupervised. This morning I'm making the Haunted Halloween. This is week 3, I think. This is a free quilt along and stitch along from the, is it a stitch along too? Or maybe it's just a quilt along, I can't remember. From the Fat Quarter shop. And it's the haunted house. And see how they're building, they have orange and black in the building. Well, I wanted to do something a little fun. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't, I'll redo it. But I cut out for the door. Let's see. Okay, we'll do this first. For the windows, I had some spooky fabric. So I've got some eyeballs. I thought that would be cute in one of the windows. And we have, that's not straight up. I need to get my glasses. We have some bats and some spider webs and some cats. So I thought that might be fun to put in the windows. My background fabric for the house is it's a dark brown gray grunge. And then for the door, I put together a little Halloween pumpkin girl with a lantern. I kind of pieced this together. And I thought that would be cute. It'll be fun. We'll see. This fabric is just precious. I think, actually, I can't remember the name. Is the fabric Haunted Halloween, Spooky Halloween, something like that? And it's by Melissa Mortensen. She does the cutest things. So I just went shopping through my stash. So we'll see how this looks. It'll be fun. If it doesn't work out, I don't know. I'll stitch it again plain, but that's the extent of my creativity, Jean. Let me turn on my iron. One of you wrote to me about using a clapper in my quilting, and she told me about this guy. He's actually up out of Fort Worth, Texas, that makes these little, calls them a baby clapper. She said, oh, I got it in the mail and it's awesome. They're about $17 a piece, and I'll link to them below. And oh my gosh, this is the softest baby's butt smooth, you guys. This is so nice. So it's flat on one end if you need a flat, you know, and then it has a round end. And it's grooved on the sides for your fingers. I love it. So I thought it would be nice, because don't get me wrong, I got the big clapper and I like that for big long seams. But I'll use it here, you know, to, because this is a Steady Betty. This is the woolly side of the Steady Betty. I need the Steady Betty side of the Steady Betty. The Steady Betty side is like a foam, some kind of magic foam. I don't know. I got that at the Houston show in like 2018 or 19, and I have given it lots of love. It's got all kinds of scorch marks on it. I really like that. Because using a Steady Betty almost gives you that sharp of a crease as if you're using a clapper. I don't know why, but it does. It's magic. You go to the Fat Quarter shop, you go to blog, you go to quilt-alongs, and then you go to Mystery Haunted Halloween, and it links over to the back over to the store from the blog site. And here it is. And it's free. Pull it up and download free PDF. Let me download. Now I gotta go to files. So challenging. And downloads. Yes, I know you're here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of fabric B. I haven't talked to you guys with the morning musings in a while because I've been working on a thing for Designs by Choo Choo. Very busy. I want to get that done by the 25th. And I think I can. I don't know if I get it done by maybe the 27th. But then I have to edit the video and get it ready and have it done by July 1st. You know, I watch Minimal Mom on YouTube. She's really good. Scads of subscribers. And my son is a pastor. And they were at he and his wife were at a conference up in Denver last week. He lives in Springs, Colorado Springs. Minimal Mom was there at the pastoral conference. She had a booth. He sent me a picture. He was like, Minimal Mom's here. I said, get a picture with her. Tell her I'm a big fan. Like some kind of groupie. He never did see her. She was teaching breakout sessions or working breakout. I don't know what she was talking about. I thought that was funny. So why did I bring that up? Right side spacing layer of fabric B square on one end of a D rectangle. What's a D rectangle? Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm making the little peaks on top of the roof. I gotta know what I'm doing. You know, I started doing those lives on Sundays because I like doing giveaways on the channel. And I was doing the giveaway on YouTube. There's a YouTube comment picker, and you know, I tell everybody, leave a comment below and I'll reach out to you and let you know you won. And then the scammers would reply. They'd use my picture, my little circle picture of you for my YouTube channel, and reply and tell you to text them at this number, and then they want money from you to ship a prize or whatever. And that was, you know, Google tells me that my average viewer is 60 plus. So I recognize that a lot of you are not of the computer age. A lot of you are, but a lot of you are not. And it was very disturbing to me how horrible people can be to try to scam you out of your money. Even if it's a nickel, you know. You worked hard all your life for that. So anyway, I decided to start, I've stopped doing giveaways on the channel because of that. On where I video, make a video, and a non-live like this, where I make a video and I say, hey, leave a comment below, and if you want to win, blah blah blah, and then people. And for a while I was like, okay, don't say the word I want to win, or I'd have you say a certain word, and the scammers got really bad. Worse than the guys peddling filth. I got into doing live streams. Now you can do it for free, but I'll tell y'all, it ain't cheap to do it right. It's like $500 a year I pay to StreamYard to do lives, and that's working out really well for me. And to me, it's money well spent. Part of the channel business, you guys, it's a write-off, right? I think what happened was in this last live that I did, because when we do a live and I tell you to put hashtag power tools in the chat, if you're there on the live, then you're eligible to put hashtag power tools in the chat. If you're watching after the live, like a replay, then you can't win because the giveaway has already done its thing. It's already been given away. So that's another benefit of doing a live. Well, anyway, so after my last live, some loser scammer, not just a scammer, but a loser scammer. How pitiful, huh? Oh. Did I do that right? I'm pretty sure I did. So this loser scammer puts a comment under a lot of comments and says, congratulations, text me at this number for you to win. And I'm like, really? I didn't even, oh, I know what it was. This wasn't on the live. This was the last one that I did earlier this week. What was it? It wasn't on a live, okay? And somebody left a comment, and I should have checked it when I read it. Somebody wrote a comment on, congratulations on X number of subscribers. Well, congratulations is a word that the scammers have little bots that pick up in comments, and they'll jump over to that video and try to tell the person that they won something. There must have been a giveaway, so they want to jump on. And so then when they leave a comment to your comment under the video, you automatically receive an email from YouTube so that you can see the reply to your comment. So I can't help that. I can't fix that. And I'm going to have a conversation with YouTube about that. They've got to get better at fixing that. But I looked at it, and it wasn't even alive, and I wasn't even doing a giveaway on that video. And I'm like, what kind of loser scammer are you that you can't even get that right? But, you know, they're banking on the old phrase from Barnum and P.T. Barnum, there's another one born every minute, right? Y'all, I find myself so old and out of touch. I know a lot of you are like, yep, I'm right there with you. My first culturally old moment happened, I was still working. This was several years ago. Kid who was working with me, he was 28, 29 at the time. He worked right next to me. I worked with him for years. I had no idea. Well, the first thing that struck me was he couldn't read cursive. I'd left him a note on his desk, and he finally fessed up, because I came into the office and I said, hey, did you get such and such done? And he goes, well, I didn't know you wanted me to do that. And I was like, and he's a good kid, right? Good troop. I didn't know you wanted me, oh, for crying out loud, y'all. I forgot to cut that off. I was talking. And he said, well, I didn't know you wanted me to do that. I said, I left you a note. And he goes, I can't read that. I said, oh, okay. So I wrote it in cursive. But the cultural thing that happened where I was like, it wasn't a generation, it was probably two, I don't know. We were talking about music. It's usually music that does it, isn't it? And I said something about Bob Seger. And he said, who? And it stopped me in my tracks. Leave a comment below the video when that happened to you. And tell me, what was your moment when you went, oh boy, it's happened. I said, Bob Seger. I don't know. Night Moves. I don't know. The Chevy commercial, Like a Rock. Oh, I know that tune. I said, that was Bob Seger. He goes, I don't know who he is. I was like, oh man. Okay. I know. Maybe it's because there was so little cultural zeitgeist that was out there. You know, music didn't get ginormous big till advent of radio and TV and all that, right? There wasn't a lot to absorb. So it wasn't difficult to absorb the music from my grandparents in the 40s and 50s. That looks great. And my parents from the 60s and 70s. And my music, well, 70s, 80s for my music, 90s, you know. There's so much to absorb now. You only get so far back and then you're like, just not interested. But Bob Seger was only 30 years ago. That's not that big of a deal. I guess maybe if you live under a rock. All right, one rooftop. Complete. That looks nice. I need to move you a second so I can put this down. On the Wonder Curve ruler over at Fiberworks Fabric Studio in McQueenie, Texas the other day. It was on Tuesday. I really enjoyed that. I had a great time. This poor lady sitting next to me, bless her heart. Myrnie, if you're watching, you were a gem. We're doing Starry Night, which is this version. You use the Wonder Curve ruler and it makes this adorable little nativity scene. And we were making one of the shepherds. And the fabric that came with the little kit for that month was a stripe for his headdress. A little thing that goes on his head and it kind of goes down his shoulders. It was a stripe, diagonal. It was a directional. Well, all stripes are directional. For some reason, I cut mine wrong. Normal. I cut mine wrong. So I ended up needing a different fabric. And Myrnie was sitting next to me. And I said, oh man, I got this wrong. Da, da, da. She says, well, the lesson is don't use a stripe. And I said, yeah, you're right. So I went and chose another fabric that was almost a solid. It was a blender, but it was a solid. Do I have him here? I think I do. I'll show you. I don't think I kept any of that striped fabric. Maybe I did, but I don't think so. Let me see. Yeah. So his headdress is this olive green. Isn't that cute? Right. So the stripe in the picture, in the sample quilt hanging on the wall, was going this way. Okay. And then these went, the stripes down here. Okay. And the stripe fabric was like orange and pink, and I didn't keep any of it. I cut mine wrong, and I didn't have enough fabric to make it work. This is no joke, you guys. This ruler, this Wonder Curve ruler, this is no joke. It's a challenge because it uses a different language. The ruler's a square, but it's got a curve in it, and it's got all these little. Let me see if I have a piece of white paper I can put behind it so you can see. It's got all these little orange and blue, you know, align your point right here and cut there, and you've got to look at the picture and make sure, let me show you. So where they show you in the picture, see, this is how you align your fabric. So you've got to put your fabric the same way as the picture, and then you've got to make sure that the logo on your ruler is in the same corner as the picture. And the language being different, they have two different cuts, shimmer A and shimmer B. And then they have a twist, cut, and antler. And those are all different shapes of cuts. Do not do this with a glass of wine, because you will jack up your quilt instantly. You have to be on your game for that. So I hope they have enough people to keep doing the class, because if I was left to my own devices, I would probably run out of fabric quite quickly. So anyway, Myrnie, bless her heart. So she cuts her fabric on that stripe, and she puts her little man together. This is after hours of cutting and sewing and lunch, and she puts him together, and the stripes on the headdress are going this way, and the stripes on the thing that goes behind his shoulders are going up and down. And she's looking at it, she's like, that doesn't look right. You know, and Doris, as sweet as she is, the instructor, she says, it's fine. And I said, I would hate that. She goes, I hate it too. She took it apart, she did it again, took it apart, did it again. Oh, the trash guys are here outside. They started coming early. I have the nicest trash guys. Some of you live in cities where they don't actually have people come by and get your trash anymore. A truck drives up and an arm comes out and picks it up, throws it in, and puts the thing down. You don't actually have a body hanging. My guys hang off the back of the truck as it goes up the road. Still that It's nice. I'll go out usually around the 1st of December and give them a little card with the cash in it. Got to take care of your folks that take care of you, right? I was watching Dave Ramsey on YouTube last night, and he was talking about tipping. If the Lord has blessed you, you should definitely bless others. Y'all, on these morning musings, I have a tendency to start somewhere, get going, get distracted, and pick up somewhere else. So if you can't live with that, press on. There we go. That looks good. Oh, so I had said I was going to be teaching at Lone Star University in August in San Antonio, which is at All Brands. And that both of those classes are filled. They're sold out. Valerie told me about that the other day. Now the one in Tempe, we had 2 days in Tempe, and the first class sold out. And yesterday there were only 13 seats left in the second class on Saturday. So they reached out to me and asked me if maybe I wanted to do a third class on Thursday before. So instead of it being 29 and 30, it would be 28, 29 and 30. You guys are hungry to know that automated embroidery process. And I don't blame you, because it is a life-changing thing. Those of you that have been watching me for a while, so when I started doing that, and if you're brand new to the channel, what I do is I can take a paper pattern for applique. They're out there by the gazillions, from a book or Google or whatever, and scan it into the scan and cut, and take the digital file from the scan and cut, and in software convert it to an embroidery design, an applique embroidery design, and then you can just stitch it out. So you cut out your fabric using the scan and cut from that shape that you scanned in, and with just the click of a couple of buttons, you have got applique embroidery file that you can put into your embroidery machine and cooking with gas. It's great. So when I first started this process, I had started with BES software. BES, I believe that Brother Embroidery Software is what that stands for. So either one of those would work. A lot of you have that software because a lot of times the dealer will throw it in as a +1 when you buy one of their machines, and it's great software, don't get me wrong, but it's got a glitch in it, and 9 times out of 10 it works great. But that 10th time, I'll be going along, file, convert to, you just click the convert to applique button in the BES or Simply Applique software. And the first thing it does is it puts a satin stitch all the way around your applique, which is great, unless you don't want a satin stitch. If you want a blanket stitch, so there's a little drop down and you switch your satin to a blanket. Every once in a while, it will not convert the entire outline to that blanket stitch. One of my viewers told me they reached out to Brother to find out what the deal was with that. They didn't know, and I don't think they plan on throwing any software development dollars at it to fix it. And I just can't have that. Okay, coming from an IT world when I was working for the government, I don't like software that doesn't behave like it's supposed to. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, right? It worked fine. But that 10th time, and I couldn't get it, I would fiddle with it and doink with it and try to make that piece separate if it was a layered design, and then merge it in with the rest of them later, and I just couldn't get it to work. I don't know why. So I was looking for something a little better, and I was watching Lisa Capon Quilts, a video from her. She was doing it using Stitch Artist 2 with Embrilliance. Now that's right up my alley because I love Embrilliance. And so I went and played with it. Y'all, that works every single time. Embrilliance Stitch Artist 2 works every single time. I have not had that issue with Embrilliance. Another thing with the BES or Simply Applique, sometimes you'll get a wonky stitch on the blanket stitch. You know, like, especially when it's doing, let's say you're doing an angle on a, you're doing a star, okay? Sometimes the stitch on the V, like at the bottom of the star, goes way in. Like it's not, it doesn't stay that 2.5 stitch length. It goes 1/2 inch. You're like, well, that's weird. Well, you can't fix that in BES or Simply Applique. You can fix it if it happens, which it usually doesn't. But you can fix it in Brilliant Stitch Artist too. Because you're in Stitch Artist mode, you can get in there and you can grab that little stitch and fix it, I think. I have a Enthusiast, which has a stitch editing mode. I've got that module as well. So whatever button, I can fix it. And then another thing, in the BES or Simply Applique software, you can't remove underlying stitches. So if you're doing a layered design, you have to bring in each piece of the applique separately and convert it to an embroidery design, so that you've gone from the FCM file from the scan and cut and you've converted it to the file for your home embroidery machine. And then once all of that is done, like on my chicken salad quilt, Lori Holt's chicken salad, I would have to do the body by itself, save the body as a PES file, get the wing, convert that, save that as a PES file, get the head, the beak, you know, each of those pieces, and then merge those pieces into one embroidery design, and then BES will remove underlying stitches when you put the whole 9 yards together. With Brilliant Stitch Artist 2, you can put the whole 9 yards together at one time, and when you say File Save As, and you save it as your home embroidery format, it doesn't look like it on the screen, but when it hits the machine knows it has underlying stitches. The software does its job, so it automatically removes underlying stitches, which is a big deal when you've got satin stitching. So they both do their own thing. One of them, like Simply Applique and BES, they are so incredibly simple and easy to use. And Brilliance requires just a little bit more, not much, a couple more buttons. So personal preference. You know, if you have BES and it works for you, knock yourself out. That's great. But you're going to come across, it will happen. You're going to come across that one time when it doesn't work and you're going to be like, And when that happens, you're just going to have to go over to your domestic machine and do a blanket stitch on your domestic. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. My rooftops are done for today. I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. And I might work on this just a little bit more. What time is it? 7:11. I think I'll sew until 8. So this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for visiting with me this morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please give the video a thumbs up so that it comes up in other people's feeds and they can watch it as well. And we will talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.